Hi.
Oh, God. Hello.
How's it going, Internet? There's only one way you could start a Lilo and Stitch review, and that's your terrible Stitch impression. Hi. That's the only way you could do this.
We've all got one. And yeah, it's always terrible.
It's embedded into your DNA because the only person who could do his voice is whoever does his voice. I don't know who it is offhand.
It's I don't remember what it was. I didn't recognize his name from anything
I know
else,
it,
so it could.
and I know it's the guy. I know it's the guy who created him. Also,
All the more reason that they are bringing him
oh,
back.
the director, Chris Sanders. He did the voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the director did the Stitch voice.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, all the more reason they brought him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like he's mostly a writer.
Yeah. But this is Lilo and Stitch, the original, because as far as I know, the remake isn't out until next week, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I think it said the 23rd. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so next week. All right. And this is the story of a little girl in Hawaii named Lilo who, through some crazy insanity, bonds with this alien koala thing.
Alien koala, possibly a dog, if you're blind.
Who was dead that morning.
Actually, I still want to. Okay, so they thought he was dead. Why did they put
in the shelter?
Why did they put him in the same cage with clearly living dogs if they thought he was dead?
I was thinking that same thing too. I was like, no, you said he was dead.
Okay, but we're jumping ahead though.
So, despite this movie being called Lilo and Stitch, I would argue it's much more of Stitch's story than Lilo's.
But there's a separate movie just called Stitch.
Yeah, but this movie I still think focuses more on Stitch than Lilo.
I would say it heavily focuses on Stitch and Nani.
Yeah, ironically.
Which I didn't really notice that when I was younger. But yeah, Nani gets a lot of attention.
Now, I'm going to say something that's going to blow a lot of people's minds. This was the last Disney animation I saw in the theater that was not a re-release.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I have not gone to the movie theater to see a Disney movie since. Actually, no, that's a lie. I saw Tangled at an early screening because I went to Show East that year.
Oh,
but that was also like 2 months early.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still see all of the ones that seem worth seeing. So
yeah,
all of the modern, Tangled and the Frozens and Wreck-It Ralph and all that stuff. I tend to go see it if it looks at all good.
I've seen most of those like on Blu-ray or Disney Plus or something. But
does that also extend to Pixar?
The last Pixar movie, the only Pixar movies I generally go to watch in the theater are Toy Story.
Are you going to go see 5?
Of course.
Okay, just making sure because you seem upset about its existence. So
I mean, it's still Toy Story though.
Yeah, I guess.
And I didn't see Lightyear though. I just saw Lightyear for the first time like 3 days ago.
You don't need to see Lightyear.
It was certainly an experience, but so the way Lilo and Stitch works is the scientist Dr. Jumba creates experiment 626. They never touch on why it's 626 in this movie.
No. You don't find out until the show, I think, or the next movie. I can't remember which came first.
Stitch the movie was the first one to establish that he was actually the 626th experiment. But Stitch is essentially, what is he? He's punished to banishment on a meteorite, but he ends up landing in Hawaii because he steals a police cruiser and runs into this girl who's kind of a lunatic.
Yeah, kind of. Pretty much.
Who is going through some family drama because her parents have both passed away. They don't really tell you how. They don't even really clearly show you the picture until the end of the movie.
No, it does say what happened later.
Does it? I don't remember offhand.
It was pretty brief. Lilo's talking to Stitch, and she mentions that it was raining and they went out driving. So it's
they got into a car accident.
Yeah, wet roads. Yeah, they actually do. I was surprised that they tell you because oftentimes these things don't.
I actually missed that. I actually missed
it,
that. So.
It was very brief.
Yeah. And they send the Doctor and some Cyclops guy to go hunt Stitch down. Well, Experiment 626, who is renamed Stitch after he's adopted from an animal shelter after getting hit by a truck and trying to mutate himself into a dog, and he does not look like a dog.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking, does that shape-shifting stuff ever come back into play, or he just does it to get rid of his extra appendages?
He initially does it to more resemble a dog.
But definitely looks like a blue koala. I don't know how nobody sees that.
Definitely does not look like a dog at all. But
no, one person says that.
Yeah, but he definitely does not look like a dog. But no, it's just a thing I think he does now because that's just what. Because I guess because he gets attached to Lilo and that's the form she knows him as.
Just like I'm curious if he can further shapeshift, maybe add limbs. I don't know if anything like that ever happened with him, but I'm guessing no.
I didn't follow up on the franchise much after this movie.
I know I watched the show a bit when it was on, but I don't know if I saw the sequel movies.
I want to say Stitch has one of the more extensive franchises for a Disney movie.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's got a lot of material.
Yeah, and there have been so many Stitch products on the shelf lately too. Well, I assume because the live action's coming out, but like they've been on the shelf for the past year.
Yeah, I'm glad to jump ahead a bit. I am glad the remake he still looks like Stitch.
I think all studios probably learned their lesson after the Sonic debacle.
Another furry blue creature.
and I mean, anytime they get it close but realistic-ish, people praise it. Like once Sonic got fixed, people were like, "Oh, that looks great," and it's close enough. Detective Pikachu, same thing. It's like, "Oh, it looks great. It looks like Pikachu." It's like as long as they get it close, people are like, "Good job."
That's what we exactly. Wanted. I don't know why it took because Detective Pikachu came out first. I don't know why Sonic had to fail so hard the first time, but regardless, something about this movie I absolutely adore is Stitch himself. Maybe I'm weird, but I think Stitch is absolutely adorable.
He's a good character for sure. I mean, and so is Lilo. Although, I mean, Lilo's funny because, like, as a character in a movie, she's great. She's a great mainish character. But gosh, she as an adult, she would be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
An absolute nightmare to have to deal with in real life.
Years ago, I was arguing with a friend about who the main character of this movie is, and I've always said it's Stitch. Because if it was the other way around, that I don't want to talk about the ending yet, but we'll get there.
We'll get
so there. Stitch's whole thing is initially because he finds out Jumba and Pleakley are there hunting him. So he's basically using Lilo as like a blockade, like, haha, you can't get me. Because you find out really quick, Stitch is really smart.
Super smart, yes. I mean, he keeps escaping every single thing he gets captured in immediately.
He figures it out with the snap of a finger. And so he's like, oh, hey, you're not going to hurt the little girl? Well, guess what? Middle finger, you can't get me. And his destructive capability, because like, they specify that he's like going to like destroy large cities, overrun the sewer system and steal everybody's left shoe.
Yeah, and they throw in that line. Lilo explicitly says, "It's so nice to live on an island with no large cities."
And he about has a stroke. That's my favorite part of the whole movie is when Stitch just gives up.
Yep, and he really does because after that, yeah, they just start trying to be, I don't know, shenanigans. Shenanigans ensue for a good chunk of while.
But something we haven't mentioned yet is Lilo's primary caretaker is her older sister Nani, who I don't think they specify how old she is, but I want to say like 18, 19 at most.
That's the vibe I got because she's obviously she's not.
She's still very young.
She's not fit, not ready for that. She clearly doesn't want to be in that situation, but she doesn't want to lose Lilo, so she'll just do whatever.
The movie also applies her parents died kind of recently.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to get her. It had to have been
like less than a year for sure.
Probably contributes to Lilo's personality a bit.
Because Pudge controls the weather.
No, my favorite weird thing is when Bubbles walks into the room and she's got the voodoo jar. She's just like, my friends need to be punished.
Oh yeah, Bubbles is the most hardcore CPS worker I have ever seen.
And Ving Rhames was perfect casting. I wish they would have brought him back for the remake, but
his knuckles say Cobra.
His name's Cobra Bubbles.
I love how she just looks him dead ass and is like, "Have you ever killed anyone?" And you can tell he probably has.
He probably has.
But you could slowly see after like Stitch starts losing his mind about not being able to destroy anything. He finds the ugly duckling, and you can see him like slowly be like, "Oh, maybe this little girl actually cares about me," because he doesn't know what that is.
Mm-hmm. This is the Mewtwo effect.
Yeah, and so both Nani and Stitch and Lilo, really, Nani's trying to get a job, which is why lose Lilo, and Lilo's trying to mold Stitch into a model citizen, which sort of starts to work until they start taking pictures of him, and then Stitch just loses it.
Yeah, I honestly think that freak out was completely fair.
It was, but I mean, they almost had it. Stitch was doing good.
Yep.
And then I love the scene where before the end where they start surfing and Stitch is all like I want to join, like pick me, where he brings a surfboard up to Lilo because he really wants the attention. I thought that was adorable.
Well, that was the beginning of his. I might like it here.
Yeah, that was his turn for the better until Jumba just ruins it.
Well, yeah, it was also sort of Jumba's turn to being like, oh, this is not what I programmed, because he was questioning why is Stitch putting himself in danger? Water can kill him.
Jumba is the literary term. I think it's called false antagonist. Because the movie makes you think he's the main antagonist, and he's not.
No, because as soon as Stitch asks him for help, he's just like, okay.
Right. Yeah, because they have their final battle, which I guess technically Stitch wins. I don't know if I'd call that a win. But
I mean, it's not a loss.
Yeah, because they fight because Pleakley and Jumba get fired, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna do it my way now." And Stitch is like, Lilo, I'll destroy your house. It's like they destroy the house. Oh, and there's this other guy.
Nani was only gone for like a few minutes there. It seemed like it
wasn't even an hour.
And then the house gets blown up. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, we didn't mention Nani has this like kind of boyfriend guy named David. He's just kind of there.
He is there. Yep. I gotta say though, Nani actually keeps her cool extremely well, considering how much havoc Lilo and Stitch caused.
Not even just that, the amount of like emotional stress that's going on with this poor girl. Like she is going through the ringer.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one freak out at the beginning where they're yelling at each other at the same level of intensity, by the way. So they're very much sisters. But yeah, that's the only time she really freaks out the entire movie. And I'm like, man, I would have been killing somebody by the time.
When I first saw the trailers for this movie, I swear I thought Nani was Lilo's mother.
Yeah.
Until I watched the movie, and I was like, oh. And I saw this movie when I was like 9, so even 9 years old, I still understood. Oh boy.
Yeah. I would have been 10 or 11, I think, when this came out.
Yeah, because you're about a year older than me.
But even back then, I found out pretty quickly that Lilo is voiced by the same person who plays Samara in The Ring, which came out the same year.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I've always found
that.
I've always found it funny that Lilo is Samara.
Oh no! But I don't know if you knew this, and you probably did. So after Jumba fails, Captain Gantu, who was the shark alien guy at the beginning of the movie,
the shark elephant man.
Yeah, we hadn't touched. He's voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah,
it sounds like Kevin Michael Richardson.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him.
He comes back to capture Stitch, He also captures Lilo.
For some reason.
Probably just because they were together, because that's what Lilo was like, leave. Like, she finally had enough. But they just happen to get captured at the same time. And Stitch easily escapes. Lilo doesn't.
Again, within seconds.
Uh-huh. So this is where I say Stitch's 100 complete 180 happens. Because his first instinct is, no, I gotta save her. I have to save her.
Yep.
Because they've been talking about Ohana, which is Hawaiian for family. This is where I think Nani's most... I can't even argue with her freak out here. Her little sister was just taken by aliens.
Yeah, again, I think given the circumstances, she really kept her cool.
Now this, I mentioned earlier, is why I say Stitch is the main character. Because if it were the other way around, Lilo would have to save Stitch, but it's Stitch saving Lilo.
Yeah, honestly, it really doesn't matter who the main character is. Most of the time, it doesn't matter who the main character is, as long as you have somebody to root for, even if they're a secondary character. I mean, like, for instance, Jack Sparrow is not the main character of the Pirates movies, but or at least the first one, definitely not.
I would argue 2 and 3, he basically is.
Well, I think it's probably because of his success, but in the first one, he was definitely a side character. Yet,
yeah, he was just kind of there. But he was on the front of all the posters, and...
Again, once people gravitated towards him.
Yeah. But Stitch saves Lilo, defeats Captain Gantu. And I don't know if you knew this, and you probably did. The spaceship they're on at the end of the movie was originally supposed to be just a regular airplane.
I don't know if I knew that at any point. Definitely not right now. Not
while
I was watching it.
They changed it because of 9/11.
Oh, okay. But yeah, okay.
This was not too long after that.
That would have been that would have been a quick switch, but the vehicles were CG, so it wouldn't have been too crazy. Which actually, that was something cool about this movie, is that the CG and hand-drawn elements merge pretty well.
It's one of the best CG hand-drawn animation mergers I've seen in a long time.
It was rare at the time. It's rare now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looked good. Actually, the animation in this movie is just great.
It looks incredible. The soundtrack, because this is one of those Disney movies that's not a musical, but there are a couple of like song moments. The one I can mainly think of is the Hawaiian roller coaster ride in the when they're surfing. That's the one that mainly comes to mind when it comes to musical numbers.
Yeah, this is a musical kind of like the same way that Tarzan. Yeah, exactly.
Where the characters don't sing, there are just songs playing sometimes.
And they have a big part in the movie. So it's like, even when Disney's not doing musical, it's still kind of musical. Brother Bear.
I've only seen Brother Bear once, and that was a long time.
Okay, but still, there's a strong musical element, even when the movie itself is not a musical. And this is one of those examples.
Okay, I'd have to rewatch that. Excuse me, it's really early when we're recording this, guys. But yeah, Stitch is probably one of my favorite Disney characters in general.
All right, so how are you feeling about the upcoming remake then?
The fact that he looks like Stitch gives me hope. The fact that he's voiced by Stitch gives me hope.
At least they're getting Stitch right. So
yes. That's the most important thing you can do with a Lilo and Stitch remake, is get Stitch correct.
Yeah, because getting Lilo's weird but charming personality, I feel like that's going to be a challenge live action. Because you have to find her weird, but also not hate her.
And that's probably why they're focusing so much on Stitch in the marketing.
Yeah.
Or most likely because he's Stitch.
Yeah, I'm guessing in that movie, I checked right after watching this. I was like, in the new one, they're probably gonna have Jumba and Pleakley be human disguises, like convincing ones. And then I watched the trailer, and sure enough, yep, that's exactly what they're doing. Because I'm like, there's no way they're gonna have them be aliens in terrible disguises, because it's just why do that to the budget?
I love the part where Stitch is eating Pleakley's head, and Nani says her head looks swollen. No, she's just ugly.
I mean, with the way he was chewing on his head, if Pleakley had not been a squishy alien,
he would have been decapitated.
So dead.
That would have turned this movie to a hard R rating. Oh my god.
We can't forget about the ice cream guy gag, which carried on through the show and everywhere. Lilo's the ice cream.
That poor guy. He just cannot catch a break.
Did he ever get his ice cream though?
No.
He had to at some point, even just a taste. I didn't know, or I didn't remember that Nani's voiced by Tia Carrera.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I don't know if I knew that at any point, but when I saw the cast list, I was like, oh, I did not know that.
Wow.
But then, watching the movie, it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of times in animation, I typically don't associate the actor with the character because it's animated. But if I really like Kevin Michael Richardson, you can't escape his voice.
It's hard to miss. It's hard to miss. And same with Ving Rhames. There's certain voices that are hard to miss.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve Bloom. He's a big one there too.
Oh, I know everybody knows this, but it needs to be addressed. It's very important. We can't not mention it. Nani thick.
She is.
It's been heavily discussed.
But she is though.
In the same vein as Mrs. Incredible.
I love how the hula dancing thing is just kind of dropped until the end of the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of makes sense because the movie only takes place over the course of like 4 days.
Yeah. When does this take place?
Oh, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, because they mentioned 1973 at the end of the movie when you find out Bubbles was a CIA agent dealing with the aliens, who he convinced that mosquitoes were an endangered species because the whole time they're talking about how the primary source of life on Earth is mosquitoes.
I would assume it was around the time the movie came out. They're generally present day-ish.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. See, I didn't know because they were listening to Elvis a lot, but then they meant 1973, so I was like, okay, this is probably a modern day movie at the time.
Yep.
Also, Stitch is a dangerous little bastard. He drives a truck straight into a volcano.
He drives a truck, a fuel tanker into a volcano just so he can propel himself through the air.
It was awesome.
Deadpool, take notes, because
Deadpool, you just explode. Stitch just gets launched into the air like he's Superman.
No, Deadpool basically did the same thing in the first movie. Minus the volcano.
In the first movie?
Yeah, he when he's trying to get to Vanessa at the end, he explodes himself up onto the aircraft carrier.
Oh, that's right. He did do that in the first movie. It's been a while since I've watched Deadpool.
Well, that's what's next. No, I'm kidding.
I pick what's next.
I know. I was just kidding. God. Oh, we got another line here. Lilo has a couple of zingers, and one with my friends need to be punished one, but also when she calls Cobra Bubbles at the end, when and if everything's going on in the house getting exploded and all that stuff, and there's just hell breaking loose behind her, and
it's crazy how calm she is during that too.
Yeah, but that's why it's so funny when he's just like, "What is going on?" And she goes, "Oh, good, my dog found the chainsaw."
I knew that's the line you were talking about too.
It's the way she says it and just the calmness. Oh, good, my dog found the chainsaw.
Mr. Bubbles, aliens are attacking my house.
God, your impression of children is terrifying.
Dude, I can't do children.
Please don't phrase it that way.
Oh my God. That's not what I meant. You know what's funny about that line? The new Predator movie coming out, the headlines for it is child Predator to be introduced in Predator Badlands. And I hate it.
What? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
I'm so serious, bro.
Oh my God. How can you miss that? Jesus.
But yeah, no, this is honest to God one of my favorite Disney movies, and I'm so serious.
No, it was good. It's still very good. I mean, it's not heavy on plot. It really is a straightforward plot, but
it's very much the bond between Lilo and Stitch is the driving force of the movie, which is the title of the movie. So
heavy on fun and heart.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And you really, unless you don't have a soul, you really start to feel for Stitch as the movie goes on. Lilo too, but mainly Stitch. And Nani, if you don't feel Nani's story, you are not human.
Yeah, I was definitely associating with Nani the most this time. Now being
as an adult. I get it.
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't know how.
The struggle is real for that poor girl. But yeah, this is just a fun Disney movie with a really adorable character. And if you don't like it, I don't like you.
I mean, you must at least like Stitch by the end because he likes being fluffy.
I like fluffy.
I can make you less fluffy. I like fluffy.
Bro, the part where they're playing hot potato with the exploding gun.
Those guns do not seem like they're that threatening.
Dude, you know the part where Stitch is like right before the final battle between him and Jumba, when he's sitting there like waiting for a family, I almost cried.
Almost? You say this almost a lot, dude. Just cry. Just let it out.
It's okay to cry. It's okay.
Let your emotions free.
Poor Stitch.
I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, that was an easy one. Really like Lilo and Stitch. Next time, however, it is kind of Disney related, but with a really messed up twist.
Oh, jeez.
We've already talked about the first one on From the Shelf. Now it's time for the second one.
Okay, you're terrifying me.
It's Poohin' time. Now it's time for Woody the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
I'm not even kidding. I was actually thinking about watching the first one this morning because I haven't seen either of them. So that kind of works out. I was already planning on watching them.
Oh, but I haven't seen the second one since it came out, so it's time for a rewatch.
There we go. Wow, that's going to be a big switch up from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, so next time it is Poohin' time.
Please stop saying that.
You'll understand why I'm saying it after you watch.
Oh God! Well, now I know somebody must be say it or something. What? Okay, moving on.
It's kind of like the whole Morbius thing. I love the part.
It's Morbin time.
Yep. Thank you guys again for listening to us today, and next time, another public domain slasher movie. Take care, fellas.